On today's Minute of the Apes, we're going to crack into some Lone Star vodka.
They greenlit the sequel without a story in mind. They just wanted to equal an unexpected gold mine. He said, oh no, as Heston said, I got to go. These are just some of the facts you ought to know as we go. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes.
The only good human is a dead human.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies, 1 minute at a time. We crack open vodka. We look at each other.
We're cracking bottles.
We have a damn good time. I'm Todd. I got Sean Richard with me.
We're killing soldiers.
It's hump day.
Yes.
You got anything to be humpy about?
That's my personal information.
All right. I'm going to do a little housekeeping up front. I haven't asked this in a long time. If you're enjoying what you get out of this podcast, which I'm assuming if you're here again, you are, don't just...
Who is hate listening to us? That's what I want to know.
I'm sure there's somebody. We all hate listening to somebody. We all troll it. But if you enjoy it, I often ask for follows on Twitter, which we're building that. Tell one of your friends about us. Tell somebody that you know. I mean, that's how I found the Star Wars Minute, was my friend across the table, Sean, telling me you might want to go listen. So let your friends know. Help us grow the community a bit more. The more that we get there, the easier this becomes for us to do. So you know how to get them here. Bring them. Minute 68 beneath the Planet of the Apes. Sean, tell me what's going on.
All right, we're going to start Minute 68 with Brent attacking Nova, and it ends with Ursus and Zaius leading an ape army.
Let's cue up Minute 68 of Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
The apes are semi-articulate.
You're lying.
How do you know? How do you always know? No. Now.
Tell us of the apes.
The apes are marching on your city.
All right, that's Minute 68. We got 3 living humans, a psychor telepath, 4 dead humans, 1 dead ape, a chunus of apes, and a gaggle of humans.
So this minute gets into what I alluded to at the last one, which is the weird reactions of both Nova and Brent. To me, in this minute, there's a ton of things where I felt like Brent should... This is the crescendo of a song. This is where he's had too much. You're controlling me. I'm on this Planet of the Apes. I'm frightened. I'm scared. Why isn't he screaming out? Instead, he just does the weird kiss thing, the weird choke thing, and kind of goes, meh.
Meh. Is he trying to hide the fact that the apes are intelligent? When he goes that he said that like the apes are semi-articulate after he heard one give like a Hitler-like speech to a bunch of other gorillas. He's saying they're semi-articulate. Is he trying to hide knowledge of it? And wouldn't they've already gotten that information from Brent, or even just from
Taylor?
From Taylor, or even from the apes that they've captured before, to know that
That's a
they're
good
not
point.
semi-articulate. They're intelligent.
Right.
Well, there was a further line that was cut out from that moment that might lead into that moment, your question a little bit more. Do you want to go over the intensity of the kiss first, or you want me to read that line?
Let's go back to the kiss.
Yeah,
Okay.
do it slowly, though.
Just now kiss while you do it.
Come here, Sean.
There we go.
I'm looking at you like Nova.
So the script direction is unexpectedly he kisses her on the mouth. Continuing tender at first, develops from the loving into the lustful. From the lustful into the lethal. He is pinching her nostrils and suffocating her mouth with his. Her struggles intensify as we see Onegra.
I always say Anjaro.
Anjaro, whose eyes are still closed. Nova's struggles grow weaker. She slips fainting to the floor from Brent's slackened grasp. He stares down at her appalled.
I want to breathe in your last breath.
In the meanwhile, while all that is happening, we were supposed to get a line from Fat Man that says, "Tell us about the apes, Mr. Brent."
Wait,
So
I
we're
got my tongue in her mouth, dude.
I know. So we're supposed to get some intensity, some more pressure while this moment is
I'm just
happening.
seeing Fat Man with his finger to his mouth. Tell us about the apes, Mr. Brent.
But we were supposed to get another command from one of them to kind of add to the scene. But these are really, really close, caught up scenes. I honestly did not get the sense that he was choking her necessarily.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
about to say
that he
this
was
is
trying to smother her or something. No.
this is another instance where either Ted Post sucked as a director on this, or somebody was not helping him with the actual script. This kiss now makes sense if suddenly the kiss goes from the mouth, his mouth is using to cover, and he reaches up and covers her nose. You can take it from the "what are you doing? This is assault" to you're saying in there. It says he pinches her nose.
Yeah. Well, did you get the sense that he was choking her as well when she drops to the floor, or he just kissed her till she passed out? She just fainted from
actual,
it's a kiss. Oh, I fainted.
in the actual film.
Yeah.
I get that, but what I'm saying is that at least then begins to make a little more sense why they have them kiss. You know, they're pervs or whatever. They want to see them kiss, but at least then he turns the kiss into something. This one is just they go to the maybe they couldn't find a way to shoot that.
They show a little bit of choking that
Yeah.
looks like he's choking her ish, and then she just kind of slumps to the floor.
They should have shown the female telepath just look over at the black guy and just stare at his crotch and goes, oh, knock it off.
It's all weird why we kiss that turns to a choke, but I wish that there had been the nostril pinching. To me, that makes a little more sense than why are we kissing so I can
It would have made
choke you.
It made it less. This is supposed to be a sexy thing instead of this is supposed to be an assault thing.
Right.
So for the audience listening that may not pick that up from that minute, basically the minute picks up with Brent being mind controlled to kiss Nova. He kisses her so intensely, the shots get really, really tight. There appears to be a little bit of choking, something involved, and then Nova just kind of slips to the floor. And then we kind of resume the interrogation from the humans.
And I think that if you'd added in there, that if they had continued, and maybe it's a number of them, tell us about the apes, Mr. Brent. Very passionless delivery. Tell us about the apes. What is their plan? And as he's going and you're creating chaos, confusion.
I love that idea that their tone is like unchanged. They're very calm about that. I'd love that.
That'd be chilling. And we really can't go back and change it, but it does feel like they did nothing but go bam. I'm going to have to look up how long the production schedule was on this.
Could have been
I'm
long.
really curious if that has to do with why
3
everything
months
is
or
so
something,
truncated.
Probably.
All right, so the next direction, and this is from Paul Dane, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The next direction, and this might help. Brent fighting bewildered horror with returning intelligence.
Horror?
Horror.
Oh, horror.
He must
He's not
talk,
fighting a whore.
but he must lie. He must save Nova from possible death and the bomb from possible activation. With an edge of hysteria, he says the apes are semi-articulate.
All right, so he was supposed to be lying according to the script.
And the fat man says, "You're lying." Now, keep in mind, this would have answered your question, right? The original line was, the apes are primitive, semi-articulate, and underdeveloped race whose weapons have not progressed beyond the club and the sling.
Except for they have guns.
Had he said that,
And tanks,
when
or
Fat Man says you're
cannons, I mean.
lying, it would have made sense. You're like,
Yeah.
why is Brent's lying?
He's seen their cannons.
I just, again, don't understand why they're even asking him a
Because
fracking
they've already
thing.
talked to Brent. They've already known
to
that. To Taylor, and they've known that they interrogated some sort of chimpanzee or gorillas or apes or something that's come in at some point.
And again, they are telepaths.
You shouldn't be able to lie to them.
Show me your mind, Mr. Brent. Show me.
I mean,
You
are
know?
they trying to discern if he's
like a grape.
I mean, are they
Yeah.
trying to discern if he's a spy still? Are they trying to get the information from him willfully without having to do that kind of invasive stuff? I don't know.
That could be a new movie, Spy for the Planet of the Apes, but not this movie.
The line from Kaz play, the next line was also cut. The Ape Scouts had rifles, Mr. Brent.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See. So.
But that also suggests that they've never encountered the apes before.
But why would he be covering for them? What is his purpose of lying to them?
I thought that too. He's only been here a couple of days. He has no links to them. He certainly has no reason to cover for them. They've done nothing. They chased him. They shot at him.
I mean, you had 2 chimpanzees help you, and that's been it.
Right.
You've been put in the back of a cart. Yeah, you've been chased all over the place. You had to drink stalactite water and stalagmite water. Come on.
Oh, no, here comes the facts again from Sean.
So after he gets that moment where he says the apes are semi-articulate and Fat Man says you're lying, Angelo.
It's going to continue
think of it-
to
think of it
I
like-
said it. I looked it up on Wikipedia,
of it like-
on IMDb, and used Angelo like the first couple times. And now, for some reason, I just can't
Think of it
remember
like
this word.
ingenue. It's Angelo.
Angelo wearily closes his eyes, and then it forces Brent to raise his foot over Nova's unconscious body. And then Brent starts having that conflict. They should fall an easy prey to stamp on the many peaceful weapons at your dispose of her with your foot on her belly and stamp. And then he's supposed to yell at Angelo, get out of my head.
I'm imagining Angelo doing a Nutty Professor crossing his eyes every time right before he closes his eyes. Hey, lady.
And then Fat Man comes back and says, the first time was not quite true, was it? And that's when Brent comes back. How do you know? How do you always know? So they cut that moment out so that when he says you're lying, Brent says, how do you know? How do you always know? That kind of made sense to kind of put those two together. It was a nice reply to
But
that.
if they know he's lying, why are they bothering asking him?
I'm once again befuddled, and I can't find easily how long the production schedule was for this, but why do you deviate from the script when so many things in there seem so essential to the story you're trying to tell?
There's a lot of stuff here with these telepaths that should have been shown that would have been more interesting than the horse chases, the chases.
Absolutely.
You know, we're going to talk about this minute and some minutes coming up where you're like, they could have given us some more. This would have been more story, right? I guess more story versus action. So maybe it was the director's choice to do more action.
And I'm sure there are probably studio notes. We need more action. You know, this is a sequel. People want to see it escalate. And that is half of what you do, too.
Let's
The
see
next
more
story needs to
telepathic
escalate.
torture.
But at least this is intriguing. At the very least, we can say this is new. It's just that they abandon it. They set up here telepaths who all of a sudden quit being telepaths. They ask simple questions that he can
They just become talkapaths?
Yeah, talkapaths. He evades their questions. They don't then probe his mind to see if he's lying. I watch Star Trek, and I've seen people do mind melts. I know how these kind of weird things can work. This is not that big of a leap of conventional thinking for a film of this time.
So they asked Brent about if the army's marching or something like that.
Well, so we get to they don't ask him that. He basically volunteers that. I will say this moment was oddly, when she's slumped on the floor in some way and he's trying to cradle her, pick her up, it was very cleavage heavy. So it was very much like...
She did have a moment where I'm sure they all kind of went, oh, did she just come out? Because it's...
No, I thought that. I thought of your childhood crush. And I was like, oh, okay, hey.
Woo, yay!
That's what Todd saw.
Why didn't they have VCRs back then?
Oh, trust me, it's actually the shot later on when she's laying on her side and she's very slim but hippie. And I was like, oh, good God, she's a pretty lady.
No, it was definitely very... Here's a half-naked woman slumped on the floor.
There were numerous shots
showing
like
us
that in this
cleavage
moment.
and body. You know, standing doesn't necessarily show you body. This was definitely... I don't think it was necessarily the camera. It was just naturally what her body was doing.
It's not a sexualized way, but it is so apparent that she is a half-naked woman at that point.
Yes, at this moment.
She's
Yeah,
very
for
feminine,
sure.
yes. So did Brent actually know that the apes were marching on him? We saw him in the cart. He saw an army training. That doesn't mean an army's on the march because our armies train all the time. That doesn't mean they're heading out to war.
That's true.
He
He's
never saw
seen
the
it.
army doing that, going past the hippies and marching out. He was already long gone by then. So how does he know that the army is marching on them?
And whenever he came out of the cave,
It was
the
just a
apes
little
were looking
scout
for
group.
him,
Yeah,
but they didn't say like the armies are coming here, which that would have solved their problem. He would know this information. What is his line in this, Richard?
The apes are marching on your city.
Yeah.
So I'm already confused by why he does that. Is he so irritated with them now for him kiss choking Nova that this is his retribution? They're coming for you. Okay, well, the retribution should be they don't even know you're here. So they're not worried about it. So that way the apes would find him and kill him, which again is not a logical thought because then Brent would be captured and killed.
Yeah, and Brent doesn't know what their relationship between the two races are, the humans and the apes. I mean, for all he knows, the apes might talk a big game, but when they show up, they're going to, show their bellies and cower, and the telepaths are going to win everything. I don't know.
Right.
So just kind of, because it would have been kind of icky.